Deke. Welcome to Legit KidLit. We would love it if you would give a quick intro about yourself and your book.
Hey, yeah, I am Deke Moulton. I am the author of Don't Want to Be Your Monster. And this is a vampire book that takes place in the Pacific Northwest. It is about two vampire brothers, Adam and Victor. And one night when they sneak out of the house, they stumble upon a murder. And Adam wants to use his vampire powers to try to track down the killer. You know, vampires have superpowers. They're super fast. They heal very quickly. And Adam kind of believes that he should be using his powers to help others. But Victor is like, look, mortals have hunted us. We are living in hiding because they hate vampires. So why do I care about them? All of this kind of comes to a head because they find out that that serial killer is actually a vampire hunter who is killing people as bait to try and draw them and their vampire family out of hiding. So what do, and who can they find to help them? And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Your book is a re-examination of a monster myth with a Jewish lens. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So when I was doing research for this book, I knew I wanted to write a book about vampires. So I started reading Dracula, which I thought was like the very first vampire book, which it wasn't. It was actually vampire books were super popular in Victorian England at the time Bram Stoker wrote Dracula. But I found that some of the descriptions of Dracula actually more matched what a stereotypical like caricature of a Jewish man was, instead of like what our like kind of the cultural perception is, like slick back hair and very very put together, handsome and dark and mysterious. But the Dracula that's described in the book has big bushy hair and like a unibrow and has a big nose and like all these things that are like common anti-Semitic caricatures. And the more I looked into it, there was a lot of anti-Semitic tropes, which is like Jew hatred tropes that were embedded into vampire mythology. So what I decided to do is take a lot of those those tropes that were baked in. My idea was like, if Bram Stoker is writing about the Jews that he thinks there are, like I can write vampires based off of the Jewish people that I know. So there's this idea of vampires being blamed for problems that they didn't cause, that they used to have like a very symbiotic, helpful relationship with mortals. And then they were, demonized, dehumanized, and hunted to basically extinction.
What life experiences shape some of the content in your book?
There were so many life experiences that shaped the book, and some in really interesting, maybe not so typical ways. Like I lived in Italy for 3.5 years, and one of my coworkers was named Beatrice, but because of the way Italians pronounce things, her name was Beatrice, and I never realized it was Beatrice. So one of the vampire moms is named Beatrice. And the other vampire mom is Sudanese, because when I was at my language school, at the very beginning of our program, like half of our professors were all Sudanese, and they were like so wonderful and nice and warm and friendly. And, I think the perception a lot of people have of Sudan when they hear Sudan is like war and famine. And of course there are those things, but I wanted to have this character that was like, like a very positive example of someone from Sudan. And, this is all in the area that I live. So I used a lot of places I like to go visit. Some of these places are really meaningful to me. So, a lot of those things find their way into my book.
So what would be in your starter pack? Those are the 5 things that make you, you.
5 things in my starter pack. Let me think. So definitely a computer or a laptop, a journal. I write down everything. So all of the books that I have these big chunky journals, and I stuff papers in them, and I draw little things, and it's all chaotic. So a journal, for sure. Lots of books, a tote bag, a canvas tote. I have so many canvas totes, a canvas tote full of bags, or full of books, though they're also full of reusable bags. So bags with bags, is still accurate. Goodness. I don't know. So much of my life is reading, and so much of my life is writing. Probably some coffee in there, coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoons, and lots of pens. I love colorful pens, sparkly pens. For a long time at my job, I could only write with black ink. Um, it like literally, it was so hard for me to start writing with just blue ink after this job. So now I just make it a point to always find like really loud, colorful pens.
Show us your favorite writing space.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, I'll just pick up my camera right here. Sorry if it makes anyone dizzy. So this is where I do my writing. This is my bookshelf with all of my books, but if I turn it around, this is my laptop, where I do my writing, and I love my little setup here with my cat holding my pencil and a bagel full of pens and stuff. And then over here is kind of like my little like sitting area. So like I seriously will just sit here and think whenever I need to. And then, I have like a closet door because this is where I it's like this loft in my house. But yeah, that is my writing space. This is where Don't Want to Be Your Monster was written. And this is where my second book is written. And hopefully my future books will be written here.
All right, finish this sentence. Readers who love will love Don't Want to Be Your Monster.
Okay, so readers who love found family, who love getting into dangerous situations, and getting out through safely. If you just like adventure and murder mysteries and you know, uh, being scared and, hiding who you truly are because you're trying to do something good and you're scared. All of those things you will love. Don't Want to Be Your Monster.
Can you tell us one of your writing quirks?
So I'm not sure if it's really a quirk, but I do not write every day. I know that there is a lot of, writing suggestions, writing advice that says that you should write every day. I do not write every day. I will get an idea for a book and I will literally sit down, and that is like pretty much all I can do for the whole time until it's done. So I will write a book in like 2 months, or sometimes I've had to rewrite books and it takes me like 2 weeks. It will just completely consume me, and that is all that I do. So I don't really know if that's a writing quirk, but like when I can't write, I just don't write, which is really hard when you have deadlines and people are waiting for you. But like, yeah, if I'm not like super into what I want to write, it's so hard. Like I can't write at all.
What is your favorite mythical monster?
Well, I would say like my favorite right now, I would definitely say a werewolf, but I guess like looking right behind me, the creature from the Black Lagoon is something that I also find is really really cool. I like vampires. I love werewolves. I kind of like these horror creatures that are misunderstood. I just like the idea of, why do we not like monsters? Like, what fears do we have that we put in monsters so we have something to like direct our fears to? And then, like, is that fair? I just love playing with that. So,
Vampire or werewolf?
all right, let's see. So, vampire or werewolf is the most unfair question to start with because I am writing both. And as much as I love my vampire brothers, I am going to go with werewolves, especially the werewolves that I created, which you guys can read about next summer. But like, I just like the idea of becoming an animal. When I was a kid, I would seriously always imagine, like, what would it feel like to like run like a wolf or like a horse or something. Uh, I just think that it would be great. I would hate to have the sunlight burn you and be paranoid about the sunlight. And like, I don't know. I just think a werewolf would be fun. Like to change into a wolf, run around in the woods, and gosh, yeah, no. So werewolf for that one.
What middle grade book have you read and loved recently?
Okay, and then this is just one of my all-time favorites, but Mr. Wolf's Class is just my favorite graphic novel, except for maybe Narwhal and Jelly. I almost said unicorn, but that's a different title. Narwhal, Corn and Jelly. But Mr. Wolf's Class is probably like the most authentic example of being in a school. He captures the teacher perspective great. He captures the kids' perspective great. It is just so, so, so wonderful. And all these different storylines interweave so great. It is so much fun. I finally bought myself copies. I usually don't buy a lot of graphic novels just because they're more pricey, but like I have checked these out so many times at the library that I just like bought the whole set. They are absolutely great. And then I have Bee Bakshi and the Gingerbread Sisters. This was like really fun and spooky. It is about a girl, an Indian Canadian girl who goes to a like lake resort with her family, and she finds her family to be really embarrassing. And she finds a cooler girl across the lake that she keeps sneaking out to go visit until she realizes, like, oh my gosh, this is actually like a witch. And like now I have to try to find a way to get her out of here. And it is so fun. It's spooky in a fun way and just really, really fun.
Mermaid or unicorn?
Okay, this one is so much easier. Mermaid all the way. Mermaid, mermaid, mermaid. So it's funny because I don't like swimming, but I just like the idea of like having this wonderful connection to water and this idea of like mermaids kind of protecting the water there. And like I would just love to be able to be a mermaid and not worry about, like drowning in the water. There's always I would love to go scuba diving, but I'm like so scared too. So if I was a mermaid, it would be great. I wouldn't have to worry at all. Unicorns are cool. They do magic. But I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just kind of more tied to like these mythical creatures that kind of have that human component to them.
Dragon or Yeti?
Oh my God. Okay. Um, I guess on this one, I'm gonna do dragon because I don't know. Yetis are cool, but like dragons do magic. They fly. There's so many different ways to use dragons. I never was like a big dragon person, but like there's so many books coming out that have really cool dragons. There's my little dragon barking right now.
Zombie or Gorgon?
Okay, so I am gonna go with Gorgon. I don't like zombies. I don't like the idea of like these corpses coming back, and then I also just think of like practically like zombies would be decomposing, so like they can't be that scary. But like Gorgons, like I would love to write like a Medusa retelling or something. Like I just think that there's just so much cool things that you could do with it, and like the kind of like really unique power you have, but also like how it limits you, and like I just find that really fascinating.
Are you doing any author visits? And if so, how can teachers and librarians get in touch with you?
And I have little Gizmo is hanging out with me now because he is starting to whine. He doesn't like it that I'm just talking to people. That's not him. But yeah, I am doing author visits. If any teachers or librarians would like to reach out, you can reach out through my website, which is dekemoulton.com, DekeMoulton.com. And if you go to there should be a tab just for school visits, but if not, I have a contact and you can reach out that way.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Deke. We've had such a great time with you today.
Um, well, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun to do. But yeah, happy reading. Look forward to next summer and learning a little bit about Jewish werewolves. And yeah, thank you so much. Bye.